Hi, it's Ben from EdTech Designer, and today I'd like to run through the process of setting up the Plenti CMS for editors to access and edit the site. And I've got a site here that I'm logged into the CMS, and you can see that I can edit the site. What we need to do is, for example, have an error I want to, or some text I want to fix up, and this needs an S. So if I do that here, that will save it locally, but that's fine. I don't want to do that locally. I want to give access to an editor to do that remotely. So I have the same site deployed here at this URL, and I need to set up the access for the CMS to those editors. So there's 3 steps in this process. We'll need to firstly create an application within GitLab, and I'll show you that in GitLab. Then we'll need to add members to the project to be able to get access, and then lastly, we can configure the project for the CMS. So I guess in this process too, I know I've got this page here, that anyone who you want access to this project needs to have a GitLab account. So that would be the first step for your client, is to get them to sign up for a free account on GitLab. So the first step in this process is to create an application in GitLab. So in GitLab at the group level, I've got 2 projects, and I think it's the easiest way to manage applications, because you can so create a group and have your projects in the group. So then what we want to do is create an application for this particular site. So I don't have any applications set up. I'm going to add a new one, and it's for the Capital Tigers, and the redirect URL is the site you want users to have access remotely. So that's this one. Of course, that would be later a custom domain, but this one is just the temporary one. In here, we don't need to have it confidential. We can deselect that, and then scrolling down the scopes, we need to select this one, the API, or else it won't work. This grants complete access to read and write to the API, and we just go down and save. So once that's saved, you can see that there's an application ID that we need to copy. So we'll copy that and continue. You can just see that that's, just check your callback URL here, continue. That will just take us back to here. And you can always come back in here and we can edit, but always view that ID in here. So the next step is to configure, put that ID into the project, and I'll just open the project here. In Plenti, there's a plenti.json, which is the configuration file, and you can see that I've got, just close it up so you can see, get out of that one. The repo, which is the repository where the code is sitting in GitLab, and that's that one there. So if I click on the project, you'll see that that's the repository link, and that's that first one, the redirect URL, which is the one we just put in, and then the app ID. So I'm going to just paste the app ID that I just created for this project, and the branches main, you could change that if it was something different, if it was master. So we just need to save this locally. I'm going to go to push this code to the remote. Let's just add a comment. And then push that code. Where are we? Yep. Git push. So once that's deployed, that will trigger a deployment here. The way you get access to logging in is just a hash. So I'll just log out locally. The hash plus, so on the root directory or the root URL, you just type login after the hash, so hash login, and that will log me in. This is locally, so there's any changes I make in the CMS here will save back to the code base locally. So now once we've done that, what we can do, we're going to go back into the site and I'll show you how to add a user. So with users or editors, you need to add them at the project level, or you can do it actually at the group level if you wanted to, and they have access to all the projects. But here I'm just going to show you how to do it to the project itself. So you just go into the project, you come up to manage members, and there's 2 members here. I can just invite another one, and I will just find a user that I can add, not the ID, and then grant. I think you need to at least grant a developer. I'm not sure if Reporter or Guest has access to the API to make the scope, so I'm not sure. I think you're probably better to be a developer. I think this is going from least privileges to the most, so I think at least developer would be appropriate. You can put an optional expiration date if you like, but I'm just going to keep it like that. Oh, you can read more about permissions here. But there you go. I've added a user. So in this case, it would be an editor, a client that you want to give access to. All right. So once you've done that and the code has been deployed, let's just check that that's happened. Yep, a minute ago. And to come back into the project on the web, we'll just refresh the page. Now let's log in. So I'm of course one of the members for this site to edit, so I'm just going to log in and type / hash login, login, like that. We get this dialog, and just to know that this login, this way of logging in this way with this hash login, that's just set up this way. You can have a button over here and then that trigger that dialog this from a button. That doesn't have to be hidden like this, but this works. So click here and then you get this page to authorize access to this API. So we can just grant access, clicking that, and you'll see that it'll redirect back to the site, and then we're logged into the CMS. I can click on the view or the edit tab, come back in here. So what I want to do is I want to update this needs an S, and then come down and save it. All right, and that should be fine. Let's just check on our repo that. Let's go back to the Capital Tigers and see that that's triggered a deployment. You can see that I've updated the content in the index, and that should take effect. If I refresh now, it won't have made that change, because of course it hasn't been deployed. So you got to give it a minute. It's a pipeline that's got to go through that triggers the build and then deploys. So once it deploys, let's have a look in Netlify. Give it a minute. It will just update. And then once that's been updated, we should be able to see the change reflected. A couple more minutes and we should see it. There we go, updated. published. All right, so we come back here and refresh the page, and you'll see that the S in fact is there. All right, and I guess as a developer, you got to realize that once editors are making changes like that, like textual changes or whatever it might be on the site, if you want to then of course make any changes locally, then you'll need to pull in those changes. So I would have to come here and just run this command git pull to bring in that change, and you can see there was one deletion, one insertion. If I go to the content pages index, you'll see that the S has been pulled in from the remote, and that's it. So pretty straightforward process, I think. I hope that was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.